And it's great to see, what Bobby Jr.'s done, but we wanted to kind of talk to you about the early days, where you're from, let our customers and let the folks watching tonight know kind of where you started life, what part of the country you were at, and what do you think?
The beginning stages, man.
Yeah. Growing up back in Massachusetts, that's where we grew up. I was born in Virginia, but my dad was in the military, met my mom there. So we went from Virginia to Canton, Massachusetts, and that's where we started with kindergarten all the way up through high school, and then went on to University of Oklahoma from there. But growing up back there, I was talking to my brother earlier tonight, mentioned to you, Jack, that there's a place in Norwood, Massachusetts called Venice Cafe, and we used to go over there on Sundays, and it's kind of our spot. It's just great Italian food, and I'm not lying to you. I'm not just saying this because we're sitting here right now at the table, but this place reminded me before you did the renovation, and all that, of that place. And going back and having, chicken parmesan. I think that was my dish I always used to get over there, and but this place just has a lot of resemblance of that, and it just kind of makes you give you that home feeling. That you don't get everywhere.
It's funny. We've known you for so long now that you're an East Coast dude.
Yep.
And I was really, really curious today to ask, what was the home place when you were growing up? And that was it, Venice Cafe.
Yes, that was the place that we used to go to. I would say on a regular basis, Sundays, and we would go in there, and you'd see the waitresses would all every week the same waitresses, kind of the same people coming in eating, and that same crowd, and that's something that I think that you got a good spot when you continue to see the same type of customers coming in.
Yeah, baby. What was your go-to when you went?
Chicken parmesan over there, and probably some kind of pizza, whatever that was, whatever. But I just, that was a dish. It was a simple dish, and he really did a good job making it.
Yeah. Well, that's one of our things, man. Chicken parm, or our sauce, gravy, whatever people call it. I like to call it sauce. But I like not only the fact that you are, but you're Italian food. You're from the part of the country that knows good Italian food, and just the fact that you bring your friends in. We sit down and talk. Mm-hmm. There's an engagement there that I can understand where you're coming from, and you get where I'm coming from.
Oh yeah.
We're both from, I'm from New York.
Absolutely.
It's cool.
Bobby Jr., you ate the grandma pie tonight. What'd you think?
One of the best pizzas I've ever had.
A scale of 1 to 10, baby. Come on, give me a pizza review. Barstool Sports, baby.
I'll give it a 9.5.
Come on, dude. I'll take that.
10s are hard to come by, but
that's
really
right.
A 9.5.
One bite. Everyone knows the rules.
Yes.
Yeah. One bite.
Man, okay, so I had some questions too. There has to be like an aha moment where you figure out that you are definitely separated in talent. And how young were you when you realized, okay, I've got this. This is something I'm really, really good at.
That's a good question, Anthony. I think that, when I reflect back upon growing up in Massachusetts and then playing baseball, Massachusetts and baseball really doesn't, you don't think about that. You think Massachusetts and really hockey. Because growing up hockey, we had a lot of hockey high school players that went on to go to college and NHL guys. Baseball really wasn't that thing, so you just didn't know. But I knew that I did have one thing, and I had a gift, and that was to throw the ball hard. And that was. And sometimes I didn't know where it was going, and even to the day when I got to the big leagues, I didn't know where it was going. That was part of it, but I did always have that ability to throw it, at a good velocity. And I did tell my dad one time. I told him, I said, I said, one day I'd love to play for the Boston Red Sox, and I thought that would have been. It was something really cool to be able to do that. Sure. And there was a guy named Rick Burleson who played shortstop. I played shortstop in high school, and I really didn't like pitching. I liked playing short better, but I knew once I went on to Oklahoma that my ticket, to maybe get to that next level as far as the professional side was pitching. And then, I ended up being the first pick for the Rangers in 1985, get to the big leagues in '86, and then I did face the Red Sox. Rick Burleson wasn't there. He was with, I think he was with the, I can't remember if he was with the Orioles or the Angels at one time, but I did get to face him. I never, as a position player, but as a pitcher. So
What was that like?
It was absolutely surreal playing the Red Sox the first time in Fenway. I think I was 21 years old that year too, in the big leagues, and going back home to Boston. I didn't have a lot of professional experience. I signed in '85, and I went to Double-A, and then the next year, then big leagues. So it happened really fast. I learned on the spot, and since we're talking about great Italian restaurant, I know Bobby Valentine. He was my manager at the time, and he took a shot on me coming out of spring training, gave me an opportunity, and I'm forever grateful for that. But going back home, pitching in front of family and friends, there's nothing compares to that. I mean, just having that opportunity. I remember it wasn't a great outing, but still, after the game, the family and friends are there, you come out of the clubhouse, and you want to go out and do well, and give a good performance, but it just didn't happen. But I ended up having some of my better games were actually at Fenway.
Really?
Yeah. So,
Okay, you went to Oklahoma.
yes.
How many years did you pitch there?
Well, the first year I was ineligible, so I didn't play my first year. So I played the next 2 years. Good comedian. So like 2 years, and then I signed after my junior year. But I did have 2 more years of eligibility.
And I was also noticing you were Olympian, no?
Yes, '84.
What was the most memorable moment of that whole experience?
I think probably the opening ceremonies, walking into it was one of those situations where you're in the Olympics, however you want to say, and you're in LA, and you're home, your home country, and you're actually going to walk out opening ceremonies, and you got all these other countries that are out there, and I believe we were the last country to walk out, and that year, Michael Jordan, the basketball guys, we had Mary Lou Retton. I mean, we had Carl Lewis was there. I remember just seeing these athletes that you watch growing up, and they're all right there, and you're out trying to do the same thing, do something special for your country, win a gold medal. We ended up getting a silver medal that year. We lost to Japan in the gold medal game, which was disappointing. I thought we had a better team, but it was just a one-game deal. It's either you win it or you don't. And but it was an incredible experience. So.
Did you play against Italy?
We did.
Okay. And how bad was it?
It was pretty bad. To be honest with you, I'll tell you a quick story. Rod Cato, the legendary coach at USC, he was our head coach, and he was a guy that was very, very good with the media. I mean, he could talk. And we got up on the Italian team pretty bad. And after the game, Coach Dato was talking to the media, and he told him, he said, yeah, it got a little scary, at times during the game. And one of the reporters said, what are you talking about? He said, well, at one point during the game, we had a fight in the dugout. And he goes, you had a fight in the dugout? What happened? He goes, yeah, all our hitters were in a fight trying to get to the bat rack because we were beating the Italian team so bad they wanted to continue to hit off the pitcher, So,
They had anger issues in the bullpen?
everybody wanted to get a chance to
that's
take
funny.
a swing. So, but this guy got to do something this year for the USA baseball too as well. He played for the 18U team and went down to Panama. So
Yeah, man. What was that like for you?
It was pretty cool seeing what he did. He got the silver, so we managed to get the gold. So I got to.
All right.
It was different playing baseball out in Panama and just playing the different countries. It was awesome.
How was the food when you were there?
It was chicken and rice every day, and then scrambled eggs for breakfast. That's it.
Bottled water all day long,
Yeah.
right?
Brushing your teeth with water, bottled water, and everything.
Yeah, baby. MVP?
I did want to ask you guys, have had the chance to ask you, was the difference of recruiting. So there's a ton of people that might watch this that are being recruited that have no idea what it was like being recruited in your day. You have a bird's eye view, your experience, and you see a bird's eye view of how they've recruited junior.
yeah.
What are the major differences? Do you like it the way it was back then? Are they getting the job done in the same fashion?
That's a great question, Jack. I mean, back when I was getting recruited, it was they waited till you're pretty, I would say going into your senior year almost. So there wasn't a lot of action going out until that time, maybe that summer before your senior year. And then the schools started to call and find out, if you'd have interest in the school or that school or whatever. Nowadays, with the younger generation and what's going on, they're recruiting the kids as a freshman in high school, sophomore high school. They want to find out because they don't want to be getting beat by the other school and not going out there and jumping on these kids. And that was the situation with him. But it's totally different. I mean, it puts a little bit more pressure, I think, on the kids, trying to make that decision because as a freshman or sophomore, I don't think you really know yet. You see something, you sit, you go, yeah, that looks good, and we'll go there. But then a year or two later, you find out, this really isn't where I want to go. You made the commitment. Not that you have to sign, you can get out of the verbal side of it. It's actually when you dot the I's and cross the T when you sign the national letter of intent. That's when you got to go ahead and continue on with what you did. But it's changed a lot since, I'm talking going back 100 years for me. And for this guy, where they're at right now, it's a total different situation. But the good thing is, he's had the opportunity for him to go to school at the University of Oklahoma, which is great.
Junior, me and Anthony, we do the same thing our dad did for business in our life. Our dad taught us this restaurant and how to be in the service industry. It's almost natural to kind of do what your dad did, as a boy. It's kind of what we always looked up to our dads. That's what we wanted to do. I remember me and Anthony being a young kid, dressing up in black pants and white shirts, and like, Dad, can we come to work with you, You're at a point in life right now where it's looking like you're going to be able to do what your dad did for a living, how he made it. And I don't know, have you put much thought into that? Do you ask him questions? Like, anything that's on your brain, are you pretty open with him?
Yeah, pretty much everything that has to do with baseball, it comes through him. He'll throw me BP, I'll ask him questions about it because he's ultimately done what I want to do when I grow up. So it kind of helps have a little side piece from him whenever I need help with. So it's awesome to have him.
Is most of the talk fundamentals and how to swing or how to throw, and how much of it is how'd you feel when this happened, right? The emotional side of it, the mental side of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you get into that with your dad yet or no?
Not too much the swing stuff because he was a pitcher. He was the
first American League pitcher to hit a home run in 1972. It was 35 years it took. Your dad did it. You know that, right?
He always said
it went off. I was looking.
And it was a bomb too. It was a bomb.
he was running on bases and it looked like he didn't know what he was doing.
Opposite field.
I pulled it. It was left center, and it was at Dodger Stadium at night. And it's you got to be a man to hit it out there. And I got lucky.
You connected, baby.
I got one. That's all I got. That's all I told him. I said I got one. I said until that time, I am the home run king in the house.
Okay, the home run derby champion right now is right here. So hold on. How many? I watched this video, and you were in the Under Armour All Stars.
My high school. He was in the high school home run contest in Washington D.C. this year. They had the All Star game.
That was a big production they put on.
Yes.
And hands down. And how many seconds did you get to hit? And you were pitching to him?
No, I wasn't pitching to him.
Okay.
If I was pitching to him, Anthony, he wouldn't hit me home run.
That's a good thing. They struck you out and done.
Okay, so you're up there. You're on the home run derby. Does nerves play a factor for you at all? You seem so even calm all the time. Love it.
I feel like it was more the day before because the day before we qualified for it. And there was no one in the stands when we were doing that. But then the next day, it was just kind of surreal being around all the big league all-stars and then going up there, 40,000+ people you hit in front of them, kind of just, all that goes away and you're just hitting same thing, hitting baseball, just like you're hitting the cages and everything. It was a blast.
I've always been fascinated with home run derbies, I think that's one of those events in baseball that is just awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
It's fun for the fans.
Everybody gets into it. Fans start getting into it. I mean, when I was in the stands watching it, and my wife ended up, because they allowed one parent to go down, in the dugout. So my wife ended up going down in the dugout. She was able to do that. And I was in the stands watching it. And even, and what they did is they did it in between commercial breaks. So they had them go out there and do it. And even the fans started getting into it a little bit when each one of them started. He was going up against a good buddy of his, Reese Hines. And Reese went first, he got to go second, and Reese set the bar, and then he went out and kind of got to the point where I was sitting there watching him, and I didn't think he was the smallest guy there, so I didn't know if he was going to have a chance. And I was in the finals, and you're watching him, and I'm going, all right, just at least hit one out, so you can say you hit one.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he got a little bit of a rhythm, a little bit of a groove, and he had enough time in the clock, and he ended up hitting the one that he beat him, and he still had a few seconds left, so. It was pretty cool.
Are they moved in the walls?
No.
You're hitting them out of Wrigley.
No, this one was.
That one was at DC.
DC, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where Harper plays. That's
Was Bryce Harper there?
Yeah, he was there. He won the big home run derby, so we had to take a picture afterwards.
Dude, was he cool?
It was awesome. Just after that, getting a big hug by Aaron Judge after just that big dude just coming around.
The Gronk. I mean, the Gronk is. I'm a Yankee fan. It's like, oh, that guy is something.
He swallowed me up.
Yeah. No, but that's gotta be, I love sports. And I've always had this thing for going to Mavericks games whenever I could. And I'd always meet these cool, interesting, guys. Scottie Pippen. I had 4 seats at the time. And this one I was, 11, 12. And so I got to be on, park with the players, go in, sit second row.
Hey, you used to play with the pros kids.
Dirk would pass me the ball. I mean, it was fun.
I think what's cool about our
Meeting
religion.
those people were instrumental for me because I got to see the humanity in them. That they're just that people are people. And that's so it's so important that we remember that when it comes to doing our thing in life, man. Is always staying humble, and you have that thing about you, and you do as well. You're so down to earth.
I'm humble.
And it's a pleasure every time to see you. I get excited whether I know you're coming or not. It's like you come in, I see you, and it's like, man, it's just comforting because I know you'll listen. You're not going to make anybody feel a certain way.
Well, I think we talked a little bit about that earlier.
Yeah.
I think, it's all about how you grow up, and I think the structure that I have with my dad, my mom back home, and my dad doing what he did, doing the 2 jobs, watching him work his whole life, and then even though I get into what I did as far as the professional baseball side, he told me when I was young, he said, if you go on and have success, just remember one thing, you put your pants on the same way I do every day, the same way everybody else does out there in this world. And you're not any different, you just have a different job, and you do it differently than everybody else, and don't ever forget that. So that's something that kind of just resonated with me, and I wanted to make sure that no matter what I did, I never forgot where I came from, number one, and I think that was big, and that's something that I've tried to pass on to him, and hopefully he gets it, understands it, and I think that's what it's all about. That's what life's all about.
Advice for every person in the world, their young kids especially, man. That's great advice.
That really is great advice. And I touched on this earlier too at dinner, but growing up with a father who's actively, doing his thing, some kids, it seems like, get into the shadow of their dad, and they don't ever come out of it, you went right through it, and you ate it all up, and you're doing a great job. I mean, it's just special. A lot of people don't do that. They just succumb to the, hey, my dad's this, and you've always kept your cool. That's something to be said for. I mean, there's something to be said for that.
We have boys, we have kids, two boys, and I think our greatest gift in life would be to see our child, an 18-year-old boy who's accomplished crazy things already, and the world is yours to take. As a father, that's like a dream when you have your son that's rising up, and it makes you proud.
Sure.
I look at you guys, and I can almost see myself in your position and being so proud of your son, and making sure he stays humble and stays on the straight and narrow.
Oh yeah.
keeping inside the lines. You're gonna go left, you're gonna go right, but keeping you somewhere where you set boundaries. I tell my friends and parents, younger parents, my dad was more important in my life from the ages of 18 to 25. That's when I needed my dad the most to make sure I wasn't getting outside those boundaries. Because that's when we as men, we're finding ourselves, we'll take some chances.
It's like a roller coaster.
You got it, man. I think the next 5 years, 6 years of your life, you'll be, really leaning on your dad. Because, because I know I did. It was important. A lot of times, in today's day and age, 18 years old, you're out, you're gone. I don't see you guys that way. I wasn't that way. Anthony wasn't that way today.
Yeah, it's important. I mean, like I said, I think that, with what he's done so far and the things that he's done this past summer and the opportunities he has had, and just to sit back and watch, I mean, as far as my wife and I, obviously, we're extremely proud. I think the biggest thing, not the performance most, but just what I'm talking to scouts about, and they come up and talk to me about just the way he is as a kid, as far as respect and things that he does, and that's part of the game too. That's another one of the tools. There's 5 tools out there, but that can also be another tool. I think that the ability to understand the game, know how to play the game the right way and what you do off the field, because even now at his age, he's getting some younger kids that are looking up to him, and they want to see how he goes about it. And you try to pass on things that hopefully can help him out later on in life. I think that's important, very important.
How much did your dad going to Oklahoma play into maybe you possibly going to Oklahoma, or is that?
He can answer that. I mean, I went there. I met my wife there. My 2 daughters went there. So we had spent a lot of time up there. So it might have been by default, because we used to drag him up to there to the football games, and this is all the kid knew. But I mean, I think he liked it once he got up there.
Yeah, it was just always a dream of mine, just seeing when they went there, and then my 2 sisters going up there and going to the football games, basketball games, just felt like home. And then whenever I got the opportunity to commit, it just kind of like dreams are starting to become reality. It's awesome.
What a beautiful time of life for you right now, man. It gets me excited.
Your sisters are probably really excited for you. You're becoming a grandparent.
Yes.
Soon to be.
Yes.
And that was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do, but you put it out.
Really excited about that.
All right, cool.
Becoming a grandpa for the first time. Congratulations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
No, man, but I know one of them cheerleaded at OU.
Yeah, 2 of them, both of them.
Both of them. Okay, so the OU thing is in the vein.
It's in the blood.
Okay.
Reed Crimson.
And they're out there rooting for you too, man. So it's you got a lot of people loving you. A lot of people wanting you to do exactly what you're going to do.
Surgeries. I mean, it's a part of life as a pitcher, right?
Yes.
Have the surgeries and the procedures changed drastically from when to what's going on now with the boys?
I think, I've had 11 total surgeries, but I think that the medicine, as far as what they're able to do now, as far as rehabilitation, guys coming back quicker, really diagnosing things a lot, I think, quicker, being able to treat those areas that need to be treated, in a timely fashion and take care of them. And the guys today, it's different. I mean, the way that they're taking care of themselves, the way that they're eating clean and doing the things that they're doing, they're looking at longevity. I know that, we're Patriots fans and obviously follow Brady. I mean, what he's been able to do, and even Drew Brees. I mean, Drew Brees just turned 40. Tom Brady's 41 to play at that level. I know it's football, but baseball, the guys are starting to get into that same type of format where they're really taking care of themselves. Sure. Back, I'm not saying I played 100 years ago, but I played a long time ago, and things were there that, you try to do the right things, but, sometimes you didn't have there's nutritionalists and things like that, the guidelines to follow. But now it's, they whatever they need, they got. They really do a good job of taking care of these guys.
But that's also, self-control too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If you really wanted it,
Yeah.
you can get it.
Yes.
You just got to be disciplined.
Exactly.
And a lot of guys can't keep doing that. It's hard. to keep going, doing the same thing, drinking the same shake, not eating certain things.
Right.
Hey, you put a tiramisu in front of me, it's like,
You can eat a whole pie of tiramisu tonight. You'd be just fine, buddy.
I'd be just fine. But, I'm not trying to be an Olympian.
Junior, so you have a 1-year plan? Are you taking things day by day right now?
We're just kind of going day by day, trying to get better each day, and then try to go into this high school season and win a state championship.
That's coming up.
Yeah, first practice is actually a week from today, like our first official. So then
And
we'll get
that's
started.
The season starts. How excited are you for that?
Senior year came short the past 3 years of the state finals, but our ultimate goal is to go to Round Rock, and then hasn't been a state championship won in Colleyville in, I don't know, however so many years, or even if ever been won in like football or baseball. So kind of trying to change it up a little bit and win this one.
The last one I remember was the girls 2001 or 2000. The girls soccer team.
Yeah, I think that was like the last
I
one.
remember that.
I think they did have
Down in Georgetown.
Yeah.
Great team we had that year.
The word on the street is that Colleyville has the guys to do that this year. I've heard from multiple people, customers, and they've had, they're pretty certain that you guys are on the right path. And that's exciting, being, a guy from Colleyville Heritage, two guys,
Let's be honest
That's
here,
a big
guys.
deal,
Okay, for
dude.
us,
That's
you
fun.
might not think it's a big deal, dude. We think it's a big deal, okay? Everybody around thinks it's a big deal. I know you see yourself in the mirror, the same guy every day, your mom and dad, you grow up. But for us, man, this is so cool for us.
Yeah, man.
We feel like we got one of ours in there, man.
It's like looking at,
No pressure.
I think he's good.
Yeah,
He's got the pressure under control.
you'll be good no matter what, man. What do you think, Andy?
I think that this is great. I mean, you've got probably the best prospect here, the best.
Every mock draft, you're the number one pick in every mock draft. And you're sitting right at our table at Saviano's.
You were
No other place I'd rather be.
Thanks, buddy. We love you, man. Thank you.
You didn't even have to say that. But really, you guys got something in common. First round, first picks, first and third.
I was the third pick overall in '85. I mean, we don't have
I'm already drafting you first. Sorry, I already took him.
you do on the team. Right?
We're here by the Jets. But
You got a quarterback? He said no. Are there similarities in quarterback and pitchers? Like, I know that a couple people. Who's
Kyler Murray.
Kyle Murray.
the Bo Jackson. One of the most iconic clips in sports history was when Bo Jackson breaks that bat over his knee. It wasn't one time. He did it a couple times. But when you struck his ass out, he cracked that bat, baby. Just look at the back of that jersey.
Was he mad about the pitch?
I don't know. I mean, I think that he's to me. I've told this to people many times. I think that in my lifetime, the greatest athlete that I've ever seen walk this earth has been Bo Jackson. I felt like he could, if he would have just been a baseball player, he would have been a Hall of Famer. If he would have been just a football player, he would have been a Hall of Famer. Unfortunately, he had the hip injury where they had to go in and do some things to that, and that kind of derailed his career in baseball. But this guy was he was a superstar. And I think that image that you're talking about, Jack, it might have been a strikeout. I did, for some reason, my game was power, and when I faced the power guys, it was kind of either they were going to get me or I was going to get them. And I did have a pretty good, I think overall, my numbers against Bo overall were pretty good. And I think that was one of those games where I punched him out. And I saw him break a bat over his helmet too once. It might have had a little bit of a crack, but he was one of the strongest dudes I've ever seen.
Running up balls.
He had a cannon for an arm. He could hit for power with anybody in the league. One of the fastest guys you'd ever see go down the base path, and just a massive man.
I forget about it.
Well, good thing he's not an infielder. But yeah, just an incredible athlete.
Okay, the toughest person you've pitched against.
There was a lot. I mean,
I know. I saw. There's like a list.
a lot of guys, obviously, that when you look at it. But I mean, I can go back to guys like Wade Boggs, Paul Mahler, Robin Young. I mean, all these guys are Hall of Fame guys. But just there's so many good players. I mean, some of the, obviously Mark McGuire, guys like Canseco, Ken Griffey Jr. I mean, all those guys. I really
Who's got the best of you?
honestly, probably Jim Thome. Jim
serious?
Thome, I think I gave up I want to say I gave up maybe for some reason, 300 home run, and then I think I gave up his 400th home run or something like that. But he got me, for some reason, that was the one guy that, no matter what I threw, it seemed like he was right on it. So I think sometimes you have those guys, in order to stay for a while with him, you don't want to have too many of those guys. But yeah, he was a guy that sticks out in my mind. He gave me a tough time.
And you had a perfect game going into 6 innings.
That was in Oakland.
And the ref kind of screwed you out of this.
Umpire, yeah, it was.
I'm sorry. This is just like, for me, it was.
This is a
I agree.
heartbreak story.
I think that.
Sorry, dude. I'm bringing up all
No, it happens. It was going to the 5th inning, and it was
Okay.
against Kansas City Royals. And I remember I was pitching against David Cohn, who later on pitched for the Yankees.
Yes.
Had an incredible career. But it was a really good game going to the 5th, and a guy turned around, and I had a perfect game going. And Greg Gagne turned around and push bunted to first base. And so I went over to do my job, covered first base, waited for the throw from the first baseman. I caught it, hit my foot, and Gagne's foot hit. So it was my foot, his foot.
You knew.
And he was out. I knew he was out. I think everybody else knew he was out. And ever how many people in the stands knew he was out. And the umpire called him safe. So we argued for a little bit, and I just, it was one of those situations where I was like, I cannot believe this guy just missed this. I said, things are going good right now. I might be able to do something special here. So I took it kind of personally. I said, all right, I'm going to prove to you that you screwed this call up, and go out there and continue to do what I'm doing. And in the 9th inning, we went out there. I think it was a 4-0 complete game shutout. Struck out 14, didn't walk anybody, and that was the only hit of the game.
Wow.
So that was
a perfect game.
Well, I mean, technically no, but
Good shit up in it. What up?
No, I mean, it's not cool with the past, but you end up winning a World Series.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you retire. That's, you left on top. That's what people want to leave.
it was a good way to go out. I think that physically my body was done. I mean, I had after that year, 2001, I had 4 screws put in my back. I tore my ligament in my elbow and my shoulder. It was a lot. It was just falling apart.
10 years old.
So I ended up, that was the year we ended up winning the World Series. So it was a good time to.
You knew it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I played with a couple guys. Nolan Ryan and Bruce Gossage pretty much told me the same thing. They said, don't ever just walk away from the game. They said, either go out where you can no longer compete like you once did, or physically, there's no, you can't go out there. So when I was done, and I never had, any regrets about that looking back. Unfortunately, I played with some guys I had teammates that maybe left the game a little bit too early. And you resent that because once you get out and you get away from it, you might have had maybe 1 or 2.
That's hard, man.
So, yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
You play with Nolan Ryan. You play with. You're an icon yourself. It's like
16 years in the league, dude. That's so respectable, right? I mean, that's a lot of people don't last that long.
You got to try to fool them. I guess the last few years, what they say, go out there and mirrors whatever you can to get out. I did, and it was something that I just really loved doing. I loved playing the game. I loved being around the guys, and obviously going out there competing. That was the part that where you get excited every day, knowing that as a starter, you have every 5 days you go out and pitch, and that 5th day is your turn to go out and do what you can do. The only downside is if things don't go well, you got them 4 days in between to grind until your next time, But yeah, it was a good career. I enjoyed every part of it, and now, you start out here in Texas, and this is.
That's what I love most, man, is that you love Texas enough.
Oh yeah.
And then it's like
Home base.
you stayed home,
Absolutely.
kids.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. What what a career.
Yeah, it was.
And you're getting to watch a new one. I mean, this is like,
This is. I mean, what I did was fun, and having an opportunity, Olympics and World Series and playing for that line. But this is the stuff for me now is just starting because I'm really having a blast watching this guy play. So that's what for me, and I've told him before. I said I really enjoy just watching him going out and playing the game right now. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to what's going to happen for him this year. So
Us too. We're looking forward to it too. Guys, I can't thank you enough. We could sit here for another hour.
seriously,
and
man.
talk. Easy.
Baseball dinner. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have a baseball dinner.
Have a baseball
That's gonna
dinner
be
podcast.
nice.
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Thank you again, Anthony. You want to add anything?
No, man. It's just like
It's
when you have good people that come in. We're very blessed and lucky to have. It's okay. No, we're very blessed and lucky to have people that are as genuine and loving as you guys.
Thank you.
You guys are. I'm so happy you guys come in here. Jack is too, obviously. My father loves you. And we really wish you the best of luck. And like Jack said earlier, man, whenever you're around, we are always here for you, man. You
I
know?
appreciate that.
Like, you
don't
want
want
pizza
carbs.
delivery, it's like the seventh inning. It's the seventh inning, you're like, I'm hungry for some pizza. I'll shoot somebody over there with a pie.
You got it, man.
You know?
Whatever
We
you
want
want.
to be that. We want to be that place for you when you get into your later career. You tell somebody like, Saviano, that was my place.
Absolutely.
Because watching you grow up, you grew up. So
We enjoyed coming in again tonight. I mean, as always, the food was always fantastic, and just you two guys. I mean, you make the restaurant, and I think that's what's important. Is that the food's good, but I mean, to have you here and come in and be able to talk to you and visit with you always, I think that it's something special, and it's nice to have a place that you can go to and have that, because a lot of places you go to, you're just going in just trying to eat, but come in and have the friendship, and what y'all do here is special, and we appreciate it as a family and just as the community too.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you guys.
Having the respect and having you say that means that is our reward. Thank you. It really is.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right. Until next time, you guys have a good night. Thank you so much. Bye.